Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about politics, the nasty game that it is.
Freddy wins.
Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Good evening, folks. It's Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the dirty game of politics. Let's talk about the team captains of the Dirty Dozen. Who are the individuals involved in this dirty game of politics? Let's talk about the victims of this nasty game. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Hope y'all doing well. Happy Friday. It was a beautiful day today. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Great day. Beautiful weather. Went for a nice little drive today to just clear my mind. A lot of things going on here for us in the city of Yonkers, specifically for my family and I. Things with my wife and her work. We're hoping to resolve that issue. I know there's been a lot of posts about her consistently. People share them with me and I see them about her qualifications and all that. And it's just nasty attacks, lies, things just to trigger me, I'm going to assume, and to create a false narrative. But I think at this point, people are really starting to see what the deal really is, but unfortunately, it still impacts my wife, especially, right? Me, I have thick skin. You can say whatever you want about me. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But for my wife, who is not so thick-skinned, who is not from the rough environment that I grew up, she is bothered by it. And they purposely include her in these nasty posts. I mean, they make the post pretty much about her, although I'm the one speaking on this podcast because they know that I have tough skin. They know that my Achilles heel is my wife, and I've been working on that. I've been trying to let it bounce off, and just keep it moving, right? And I have, but it's constantly and it's every day, and it's disgusting. And so, I fire back at times, right? And today was one of those days where I fired back after seeing a post that was put again last night discussing my wife's career, information that should have been confidential, but they know about it, and which is why I speak about it. They're going to be discussing it anyway, so I might as well put it out there. But it's unfortunate that they have access to this confidential information, and I don't know who's the leak within the city, Yonkers Board of Education. Teachers, staff members, administrators should be protected, right? Their information should not be distributed so freely to where it can be used to attack them. And that's what's actually been happening. So today, I shot back. It's the same individuals, right? If you saw my podcast on the Reunite Yonkers event, then that's the crew. Those are the individuals. That small group who were at the cigar lounge, puffing it up, is the crew of individuals that play nasty and dirty politics. So I don't really have a whole lot of sympathy for them and empathy because of the way they bully people in Yonkers. I mean, they've been bullying people before basement politics was a thing. So it's nothing new. It's new, though, that someone like me is on them and is bullying back, if you will, giving them a taste of their own medicine and being consistent with it and not allowing them to scare me away, right? Or to quiet me up. And that bothers them, right? And so they continue to attack. And so one of these individuals, part of that group, is Lorraine Lopez. And I put a post today in regards to Lorraine Lopez and Ruros, the guy that does the Yonkers voice. These are individuals that were a part of that Reunite Yonkers, right? And so Lorraine Lopez, had shared a post about free turkey giveaways very recently, which I thought was interesting considering the history she has with turkey giveaways, right? She was convicted of grand larceny when she stole the money that was for turkey dinners. She was supposed to go out and buy these turkey dinners and give them out to the community. She was given this money by a business here, $5,000 or more, and the money disappeared. There were no turkeys ever purchased, and her excuse or reason for the money being gone was that she distributed the money among the community. And because she didn't want to ask for the money back, she took the charge. In fact, she blamed Mike Spano. She blamed the mayor, Mike Spano, for her charge and conviction. She said Mike Spano came in 2012 and he was clearing things out, clearing people out, firing the old Phil and McComb people, and she was one. And although she wasn't the only one, she said that he started with the Spics first, referring to herself, a Latina Puerto Rican woman, indicating the mayor was racist and that he went after the Spics or the Hispanics first. And then she blamed him for being charged and convicted of this crime that she says she did not commit, but she took the charge anyway in order to not have to ask for the money back. Now, I would ask for the money back. I'm not taking a felony charge, right? I'm not going to go possibly to jail. If I gave the money back, I would say, hey, listen, I need to get the money back. And I would make sure that I documented that and show who I gave the money to so I can vindicate myself, right? But you should have done that in the first place. And here we are. And so I wanted to come on and discuss it because it made people upset. And I want to start by saying my condolences to Lorraine Lopez, whose sister passed away 2 days ago. So my condolences. I don't wish death on anyone. I don't, take any, comfort or take any, I'm not happy about anyone passing away, regardless of what they may have done to my family or have been a part of doing to my family. I didn't know that her sister passed away when I had put the post up. So my condolences to that. And I apologize for that. I'm not speaking about her sister in any negative way. I'm talking about a fact and something that actually happened. Now, I'm being sorry and I'm sending my condolences because I'm not an evil human being. I'm a tough mother, but I'm not an evil human being. And I do have a level of compassion and empathy that some of these individuals just don't have and have not expressed towards anyone, especially me. So I want to put that out there. However, you are part of this group, these individuals that attack people in the most disgusting way. And by default, you are a part of it. And when they've been attacking my wife, my family, my business, her career for 2 years straight, attempting to fire her on multiple occasions, all my sympathy, all my empathy goes out the window. Lorraine Lopez, you hang out with your boy, Zahi Jerris. His son, Frankie, and some of the individuals such as the Joseph Sages and the Jeffrey Sages who get on Facebook using fake pages and attack everyone that speaks out against their candidates. And they do it in the most disgusting way, which is why they use fake pages. Steve Trevert was caught doing it. He had to call the woman to apologize after he was bullying her on the internet, and he was caught. It's the only reason why he apologized. But it's obvious that this is what they do as a result of him getting caught and seeing others get caught, like a Frankie Jerris using the Yonkers Newswire, the page that they do most of their disgusting attacks on. They allow Brian Harrod to be the face of it, but make no mistake, a lot of the posts are not by Brian, and you can tell in the grammar. Brian has a third grade writing style, whereas Frankie Jervis is obviously more educated, writes better. He's in college now to become an attorney. And so when it's Frank who's posting these things. And they don't care. They'll attack my wife, who has done nothing to them, a woman, a school administrator. They have no problem doing that. And then the minute I make a post, everyone is all up in arms. I'm getting phone calls from people. Now, I thought I took it down, but I think I didn't take all of it down. And I only did that, and I'm going to tell you why. Two people, right, are the reasons why I even attempted to take it down. One of those was my wife. That's right. The people that the woman that you guys attack, your team, Lorraine, attacks Zahi Jeris, the man that you're super tight with, and you know what he does. And I'm sure you go around talking smack too about us. I know you do. Right. But she said, no, Freddie, take it down. We're better than that. We're better than that. They can be as disgusting as possible. And I understand. I get it. And I appreciate you wanting to defend me and protect me at all costs. Because trust me, a post is the least of what I want to do. And so she said, it's the best thing. Take it down, Freddie. We're better than that. That's not how we are. It's not how we operate. And listen, I get it. I get it. You don't have to watch my wife and have to be there for her when she is having her anxiety because of all this. When she's upset, when she sees her face on one of these posts and they're talking all about her credentials as if she's this horrible loser, lowlife who can't amount to anything. The woman has worked hard for many years to earn her stripes. She does a damn good job, and nothing was given to her. Nothing. She worked hard for it, unlike the individuals who I speak of. So she said that, and that's why I considered it. But another person who reached out to me was Vincent E. Spano, the city clerk. And he asked me what was up with that. He told me, he said, I just want you to know Lorraine Lopez's sister died. And so, I don't know if you have an issue with her, but just want you to know that. And I said, you know what? My wife asked me, Vinny, out of respect for Vinny. And I know people say, well, respect for Vinny. Yeah. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not. I'm an individual that's genuine, honest, straight up. I'm, abrasive. I can get aggressive, right? But I'm straight up and I'm honest and I tell it like it is, right? And I don't hate people for the most part. I'll dish it back out, but I don't hold hate in my heart. And I don't hate Vincent Spano. I don't hate Mayor Mike Spano. I don't hate any Spano. I don't hate them. I don't even hate Zahi Jeris. I don't hate Lorraine Lopez. I don't hate Brian. And I don't hate Rue. Do I want to kick their ass? Absolutely. But I don't hate them. I just dislike them. Right. And so for Vinny, because who actually has done some things for me, and it's not really favors, really, it's just keeping these people from, their constant attacks. Right. And some people say, well, Vinny Spano's a part of it, Freddie. He's doing it. Maybe. But I'm getting a lot of nasty emails about Vinny Spano. I'm getting a lot of nasty emails about the mayor. And I doubt that it's coming from Vinny Spano, and I doubt that it's coming from the mayor. And so these are people who are sending me these emails in order for me to attack the mayor and attack Vinny Spano and his family. And I believe it's coming from this group of individuals. The Frankie Jerises, the Jeffrey Sages and the Joseph Sages, right? It's their little game that they play. Give them this information, have them put it out there, and then have the Spanos hate him. So I said, to you, Vinny, out of respect for you, because he had, did something for me for the daycare when I was back on Lockwood, right? I said, I'm going to take it down and make sure you tell them, right? He's taking it down because his wife, who you guys attack, and because of me. Make sure you guys, know that. Because I know some of you hate the fact that I communicate with Vincent Spano. He's a city clerk. His brother's the mayor. We are looking to do business here in the city of Yonkers. So again, I don't hold hate for people, but I will dish it back out. And a lot of my issues isn't coming from the Spanos. And I've been having conversations with various people about this, people who also have had their issues with the Spanos. This is coming from this small group, the Zahi Jeris team, that consists of Tasha Diaz, Shanae Williams, Deanna Robinson, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Lorraine Lopez, Jeffrey Sages, Frankie Jeris, the Joe Sages. These are these individuals. And this is why I talk about them. The Rue Roses, the Brian Harrods. These are the individuals that are making politics very disgusting. I had a conversation with one of the Cater family members today, in fact, and they said, I don't think your problem is the Spanos. I think your problem is this group, this individuals, Zahi Jerris and his little crew, right? And this person said, as much as what I've said about the Spanos, they haven't attacked me. And before Zahi Jerris was involved in politics, or before he got back into politics, it wasn't nasty like this. The elections were not disgusting. You didn't see the negative mailers. You didn't see the post online or the Facebook pages. This is a Zahi Jerris strategy. This is what he does. And so to anyone who's a part of that crew, part of Homeboy's crew, you're open, it's fair game, open season, right? So if you want to have Freddie back off, then I suggest you talk to your little puppet, Brian and Rue, and say, listen, the more you go after him, the more we get it. Because I'm going to go after the whole crew. I really don't care. And you guys saw me on Yonkers Avenue at my Astros. There was a perfect time. Again, opportunity and space. What did you wait for, right? To just go back on the internet and post it up. So I wanted to just say that out there, right? Because I'm not a heartless person. I don't want people to say Freddie's just as disgusting. But listen, until my wife is no longer being attacked, I'm on the defense and on the offense. Until my wife is no longer going through the problems, until we're no longer going through the problems that they have put us in, all of them, each and every one of them. Each and every one of them has done something. It's on and popping. And so you guys have the, the balls in your court, as they say, right? And I've relaxed, even when Brian was talking crap and Rue Rose, and I said nothing, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. And so I'm going to shoot back. And I'm not going to have any feelings about it. I'm just not. I'm able to detach my feelings. I want to post. I want to show you what it was that I posted. Right. This is what got them more, upset. This is at the cigar lounge, my Astros, where I supposedly threw a hissy fit. Here's Rue Roast, a man that was charged with sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl. A man who had child pornography on his phone. This is from a police report, a Yonkers police report, and Lorraine Lopez, a woman that was involved in that turkey charity money theft and Toys for Tots theft also, and some other things that I know about Lorraine that I have not mentioned. There are things about you, Lorraine, that I have not mentioned. So I don't go that low, Mr. John Rubo, a man who called a woman a scammer. Got the nerve to say something to me. And I posted this article in case you have not seen this. The former owner of a Yonkers karate school pleaded guilty yesterday to touching and kissing one of his young students. So how do we allow this man to enter the Yonkers public school? Why do our elected officials engage this man? He was touching and kissing one of his young students as the female student wept in state Supreme Court in White Plains. The victim was on the stand crying. Rui Benros, 35 at the time, 21 years older than this girl, the owner of the Shuku Kai Karate School in Yonkers, pleaded guilty to endangering the welfare of a minor. Now, he was able to plead down, which is why he only got probation. Why do we see that often here? Why do we see these pedophiles get probation? James Sertival, another individual that's still active in Yonkers, sodomized a 14-year-old boy after he was preying on boys on AOL chat rooms. He only got probation. And then the guy who redistricted Yonkers, Mr. Andrew Beveridge, Dr. Beveridge, was victim shaming the 14-year-old boy at the time, saying, well, the boy was promiscuous and he was very aggressive. He wanted it. What? And this is the man that we allowed to redistrict Yonkers? It's like, is it pedophilia? one of the prerequisites to be, involved in Yonkers politics or be a part of city government here. So I posted that along with, and I guess I did delete the picture of Lorraine Lopez's mugshot. She had the mugshot, right? I deleted it. And I posted it because I was reminded of that incident when I saw this, right? Lorraine Lopez posting Thanksgiving grab and go. Maybe you should stay away from this after that, after what happened, right? We're handing out Thanksgiving dinners. Hopefully they get handed out. There's $50 Acme gift cards to the first 100 families. Make sure that there's 100 of them. I'm just saying, right? Yeah, thank you very much. And I just had a great meeting today. In fact, I had 2 great meetings recently this week, and we're looking to do some incredible things, actually. And so this is why I'm out here speaking on it, because they're attacking my business. They're saying that we're unlicensed, we're this and that. They have no clue what they're talking about, right? No clue what they're talking about. We're not open during the day yet because we don't have the license. We're working on the license. It's a process. It's just a process. They have to come and inspect. We have to get the building department first to do their inspections. We have to get this new CFO, right? That takes some time. We're having to then have the building, OCFS, Office of Children and Family Services. They have to then come, send their fire inspector. So it's a bunch of different inspections. It's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. And, which is why I'm pissed off, because on Lockwood, we were delayed purposely by the lawyer of the owner of that building, who's connected to Zahi Jeris. No wonder they wouldn't sign off on the paperwork so we can install that fire system, which we didn't need initially when we started the application. We didn't need it. But in the process of doing our application and with the many delays that the Yonkers building department put us through, by the time we got to the end of the application where they were ready to sign off, they said, oh, wait a minute, OCFS, not the state, not the building department, not even the international building codes, but OCFS, the licensing agency, changed their regulations or their rules, and now they wanted daycares of 50 children or less to install this, complex fire system, which made no sense for a small daycare like that. We were 1 floor, 2,000 square feet, 1 classroom. Everybody in the whole place would know there was a fire at the same time. You wouldn't have to, tell anyone. They wanted us to put these pull stations by the door. By the time we got to the door, we would be out with all the kids. We would pull the alarm for nobody, but we were willing to do it. It was going to cost us $10,000 to put this elaborate system, because now it was a new law. They changed that as of July 31st of 2021. We started our application at the beginning of 2020. We should have been done before July 2021. So we would have never had to put it. We would have been grandfathered in. But because the building department kept telling us, oh, wait a minute, you need to now add this. Okay, we do it. They come and inspect. Oh, wait, now you need to add this. That's going back to change the plans, paying more money to the architect, resubmitting the plans, waiting for them to get back to you. Those delays made it to where we went past July 2021, and now we had to install this, which we didn't know because it wasn't initially there. And so the landlady there, because of her attorney, knowing Zahi Jeris and being connected to these individuals, would not sign off on the paperwork. They own the building. So if you do any work in a building that you don't own, the owner has to sign off on it, right? And so they wouldn't sign off. They delayed it. They kept giving us some excuse. Oh, we're going to get it done. Oh, we need this. Or you didn't give us the right paperwork. It's a one-page form. Just sign off on it. So I stopped paying the rent. Why am I going to pay the rent when you're delaying us from getting paid by the state? So the way it works is you can have children and not be licensed, but you can only do a certain amount of hours. So as long as we were doing no more than 3 hours, we were fine. So it was okay to do the day program because the Yonkers Public Schools only pays for 2.5 hours for UPK. And so parents were taking the free 2.5 hours. That's under the 3 hours. After school programming was 3:30 to 6:30. That's 3 hours. So we were not doing anything illegal. We would have been shut down. We would have gotten shut down a long time ago. They came many times to inspect, right? But we were within the guidelines. Now, if we wanted to do more than that many hours, and if we wanted to do infants, let's say 6 weeks old, then we would have had to have the license, but we didn't have infants, right? And then, and here's the crazy part: you can take kids who pay through subsidies as long as it's within only 3 hours, right? But they won't pay you unless you get the license. So we're servicing kids and the after school, and we're not getting paid by the state. And we did that for many years. So we service kids and families for free for 2.5 years and didn't get paid by the state. And so I added that up. That's over $100,000. We're still doing that now in our after school because these kids want to be in our program. The parents want them in our program. Look, we'll take them because we do have some kids that pay out of pocket. We're there anyway, right? And we don't want to disrupt what the kids are doing. So that's what's actually going on. There's nothing illegal, and we take very good care of our kids. We love our kids. They're our family. I will protect my kids, and I mean the kids in our day program or in our program, just as I will protect my own kids. I would never put them in any danger. And it's sad that they're trying to attack my business with these lies. And it's coming from the Yonkers Voice, and it's coming from the Yonkers Newswire, 2 pages that are paid by Zahi Jarris, paid by Tasha Diaz's campaign. You see their pictures on their pages. You see them always supporting them. They never speak negatively about them, regardless of what they do. Never. Never, never, never. And they got Ruros by the balls. Ruros has to do what they tell him. His son almost lost his police job. His son was arrested in White Plains for beating up and stabbing a White Plains fireman. He was drunk at a bar. It's what they do. You saw the corrections officer very recently that was beating the woman in the parking lot with his gun. So what's going on with those law enforcement guys going up there in White Plains? I don't know what they put in y'all drinks, but his son then was put on modified desk duty. His gun was taken away from him. So he's over here attacking me, my family, talking about our business. Meanwhile, his son is about to lose his police job because he has an aggressive, violent problem. And it's, a scary thing to have an individual like that whose father is a pedophile and he's a known violent and aggressive individual who stabs firemen. Would you want that police officer walking the streets? Not me. Yeah, that's not cool. It should be confidential. Yeah, Pepsi, let me tell you, when my wife was transferred to the new school that she's working in now, Frankie Jarris, the son of Zahi Jarris, knew what school she was going to, knew that school would be closing down at the end of this year. My wife didn't even know that the school was closing down at the end of this year because they're going to be moving over to the new school, the Soto de Meyer school, when that's completed. Right now, where my wife is at is a school that they are renting from the Archdiocese. It's a former Catholic school building. So they're going to move eventually to the permanent building on McLean. But how did Frankie Jarris know this? Did Tasha Diaz, his client, tell him? She's the education committee chairwoman. So did she give him this information? So they posted this on the Newswire. So that to me is a threat. You know where my wife is. You know where she's going to be going. You are posting this online. They've taken pictures of the house. They've put my address online. People have come to my door. So I don't want to hear all the, Crimea River stuff, I don't, it's war. There's no, it's all fair and love and war, as they say. And again, my condolences to Lorraine Lopez and her, her family, sister passing away. But Lorraine, did you know that your, crew, I was going to say something curse, your crew was texting me with anonymous numbers mentioning my sister who passed away of a drug overdose? They intentionally insulted my sister who has passed away. This is what they were sending me through text messages and comments. Those are the people you hang around with, Lorraine. And so when you're a part of a certain team, you better believe another team is going to come after you, regardless if you're the one talking smack. You know it, and you're a part of it. Right? It's like if a player on a basketball team is talking smack before a game, I'm dunking on everybody on that team. And that's for that one player talking smack. That's what Michael Jordan would do. So it's all fair in love and politics. You have to get away from those individuals if you don't want people coming after you. And you have to stop doing what you do in the background if you don't want people to mention you. Right? My sister passed away too. So did my father. Just like Lakeisha said, her brother, cousin passed away. Right? Everybody wants this sympathy when something's happening to them. But they don't care about people who they attack. They don't care if they have a family member that's passed away. They don't care if they lose their job and can't pay their bills. They don't care if they are on the street with their kids and they're homeless now. They don't care if they're ruined their reputation and they can't go to another employer to get employment because of their reputation and because of the way they were terminated. They don't care. They don't care about your business if you go bankrupt. They don't care. What if I was, mentally truly unstable or had, some, real trauma from all this and ended up committing suicide or something, right? What would it be then, right? What would people say then? These people drove this guy to kill himself. Not that not gonna ever do that. I'll go out to somebody else first, but I'm just saying, right? But there was an individual who was suicidal after being targeted for retaliatory termination. They fired him, actually, and they brought him back because they didn't want him to kill himself because of it. Imagine. He killed himself because they targeted him at his job at DPW for termination because he had spoke out against the supervisor. He had information and video on a supervisor's son using cocaine. A supervisor's son who works for DPW currently. A guy who's been going to the bar, well, I hope he stopped by now, with a city vehicle, which I have on video and pictures. Right? So the guy was fired because he brought that out and he was suicidal. His mother told someone, my son, he's going to kill himself. And so this person went to one of the higher ups and they brought him back. They had to. Imagine this guy killed himself. But you know what they did? They made his life hell. They had his car towed from the employee parking lot once after he came back. So this is what they do. They're disgusting. They don't care. How can you have any sympathy? They continue to go at people, and they've been doing this for a long time. But this is Zahi Juris and his consulting company. That's how they operate. That's who they are. And so, Lorraine, when you work for Zahi to make sure that you get the petition signatures that he needs for his candidates, you become a part of his team. You know what he does, and you're all for it. And you know what you've done. So you can't be a victim. You're a player, right? It's like you're part of the crime syndicate. When you get locked up, you can't be crying and snitching, right? You knew what you was getting involved in. You got to take it like a woman. Take it like a man. Take it on the chin. Take it on the chin. Yes, she did her time for that. That's old. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. But again, if they want to be negative, we're going to be negative. We could be negative too. So maybe you should talk to Rue, Lorraine. Maybe you should talk to your boy, Brian, Lorraine. Maybe those who have an issue with what I say should speak to them because it's daily that they attack my wife. Daily. Post conversations in the comments. Frankie Juris making comments. Yeah, I hear that, he's this, that, and the third. It's every day. And I don't respond every day. I don't. But I just saw the turkey giveaway thing and someone sent me the link to Lorraine Lopez's thing. And I thought that was interesting. I said, you know what? Let's put it out there. They want to put out my wife's stuff. Let's put it out there. My wife didn't even do anything, but yet she's doing the time. Harry is a kinder when he speaks to people in private. Yeah, he's a punk in private. He went to shake my hand when I went to his house or to his apartment over there where he lives for free. Oh, hey, Freddie. And he extended his hand out to shake me. I looked at him. What's wrong with you? Shake your hand? Ready to stab you, right? And so I didn't shake his hand. I went to tell him exactly why I was there. And then he slammed the door in my face. And then he called the police. And then the police called me. But I said, I recorded it all, so he can say what he wants. I told him he should stop degrading your wife publicly like an asshole, but he's persistent. No, I know. They pay him to do this, Anthony. That's how he makes money, though. That's why he's doing it. The guy doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. He has no reason to attack me, but he's being paid. This is how he makes his side money. The money goes to Ruros first, and then Ruros breaks him off. They're a team. Remember, they used to battle it out. Brian was calling Ruros a pedophile, pedo too, way before I even knew the guy was a pedophile, right? And then they joined forces because that's how they make their money. They are extortionists. They are extortionists. So either they're getting paid, which is what I believe, by Frankie Jarris is, or it's not just Brian Anthony. Frankie Jarris makes posts also. You can tell in the writing styles it's somebody else, right? So he's also doing it, right? But this is what they do. Brian is paid, Ruros is paid, right? And maybe they thought that I would reach out to them and say, hey, if you guys stop, I'll give you money, because this is what they do to people. They've done this to other people. Ruros told Nick Speranza, he's told Ron Mattin that the reason he's said negative things about him was because they didn't pay. That's what he does. He's an extortionist. Right? He's a criminal. He's a lowlife. Anyone that sexually assaults a underage girl, anyone that has child pornography on their phone, anyone that, has been known to have, flings with prostitutes, on cocaine binges. And I know this because I know people that know him very well, very well. Is a degenerate lowlife piece of crap, right? He's going to always do lowlife stuff. He has no morals, no integrity. Hasn't had any. Look at his son. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Okay, I've never stabbed a Yonkers fireman, right? I've never done that. Never been so drunk and belligerent that I've hurt somebody and had to be tased and arrested. No, and that's a police officer, and he's a police officer, and this is what's happening to him. These are degenerates that are operating in Yonkers, and it's important that we know about it, because people who complain about things the way they are, these people are part of helping this, that progress, right? They'll lie to you. Ruros tells you that everybody's in support of the term extension, which was a lie. It was a blatant lie, right? He won't mention things that should be mentioned. He won't touch on the fact that Tasha Diaz tried to award not once but twice a no-bid contracts to family and friends, including her campaign manager, Frankie Jarris, who's the bag man for Zahi Jarris, right? So they pay these guys to do this. They're extortionists. That's what they are. They are paid by the clerk's office, and they're paid by the clerk's office. Maybe I think they're paid, but they're definitely paid by the clerk's office to do the advertisement. Zahi Jarris is the one that's doing the nasty. Zahi Jarris, in fact, paid Brian Harrod. He didn't pay him. He gave him $300 to give to a heroin addict that they found on Elm Street. Right? This is a true story because I caught the guy and everything. They paid him $300 to record a video saying that I sell bad heroin. And then they posted it, right? I own a daycare center. If parents have seen this, parents have asked me about it. They see the owner of their daycare center is being called a heroin addict. A dealer. It says so bad, a heroin dealer. They're going to, just want to know what's going on there, right? And so when I caught up with the guy, because I found him, he was hiding for a while, but I found you, Mikey. I found you. He said, no, this guy, Brian, he described Brian to a T and said he was on the phone with somebody saying, yeah, I got the guy, got this guy. And he told him $300. And that's what Brian ended up giving him. He said, he gave me $300 to do this. I'm sorry, I don't know you. Yeah, I know you don't know me. You can get killed like that, homie. You're lucky I'm not that type. But I know guys that would have hurt you really bad for doing something that's stupid. But I get it. The drugs, the guy's not thinking. They used him. So I felt bad for the guy because he was in a low place in life, right? That's his punishment, right? That's his punishment. But he was paid to do that. Where did Brian get the money? Brian Harrod is on he lives completely off the system. He's in fact commits welfare fraud. He has 2 apartments up at Grant Park. They allow him to do this. Municipal Housing Authority of the city of Yonkers allows him to do it. Why? Because the head of Macy hates me, hates my guts, hates my guts. And we're going to be talking about her and her husband here in a second, right? James Kavanaugh. She hates my guts. So, of course, they probably say, hey, listen, we'll continue to allow you with that free apartment. Just attack Freddie, right? Keep attacking Freddie, right? Anthony DiMaggio, a fist doesn't fit through the keyboard, So I want to put that out there. I wanted to say my condolences to Lorraine Lopez and her family on her sister's death. I'm not an evil human being. I would never wish that on anybody. My sister passed away, and I had to deal with them speaking about her negatively, right? They did. I dealt with that. So I understand, and I apologize for that. However, you are part of that team, and they are disgusting, Lorraine, right? And if you are going to continue to be a part of that team, the Tasha Diaz, the Frankie Jarris, you're super tight with Tasha. She's super tight with Zahi, super tight. You know how tight they are. Are they still that tight? And so, you're a part of it. You're a part of it, Lorraine. You don't do a lot of nice things here, okay? I know people believe you to be a great person because you give out the turkeys that they give you. You give out the food that they tell you to give out, but that's your job. You do that to get the people in there to vote the way you want them to vote. It's a tactic, right? Here, give these. I learned from guys with money, a long time ago. Money, it almost does anything you want. And I've learned that. Money is a great motivator for people. As long as you handing out some cash, if you passing out some money, people are going to be loyal to you to a certain extent because they're going to want that money coming, right? And so that's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about. You hand out free things, people are going to come. Oh, you're great. Let's make sure we vote the way she says. Let's give her my information. Here, my ballot, sure, I'll sign it, no problem. Thank you for the free food. But what they should be doing is helping you become independent of that, not continue to keep you on a long line for free food. Where are the jobs that will pay you a living wage so you don't have to do that? Where's what's going on with our educational system in that our kids are not doing a whole lot after they graduate? It's great that they graduated, but what are they doing afterwards? How many actually go on to succeed? Right? How many? How many kids of the 77% living in poverty, at or below the poverty line, that attend the Yonkers public school have broken the cycle of poverty after graduating? Or are they still in the same community, living in the same apartment? And is their family going to that line to get free food because there are no jobs? Because they really weren't taught a whole lot. They were just pushed through in order to graduate. So let's keep it real. I'm not impressed. And maybe because I know more, maybe because I'm more aware of things, but I'm not impressed with free turkeys. ShopRite gives free turkeys too. I'm not impressed with the little events and the free Mr. Softy ice cream and the bounce houses. I'm not impressed by that. Not impressed by the different dances and stuff. I'm impressed by results. What are the results? Are our kids breaking the cycle of poverty? 75% of our kids are Black and Latino in the Yonkers public schools. 77% of them are impoverished. So are they breaking the cycle of poverty, or are they just being pushed along and given free food until they're kicked out by some new landlord that just bought the property, that wants to get the property off the controlled rent thing, so they set it on fire, or they force you out somehow so they can get rid of the people so they can renovate it and now rent it at market rate? Are you just pacifying the people until this happens to them? Because that's what it looks like to me. And it's sad that people from their community are helping this happen. People that they trust. And that's who you are. That's who you are. You're doing this simply to get people that you once spoke negatively about, Lorraine. You called racist. You blamed them for your legal problems, and now you help them. Now you go hard for them. It doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't add up. And so I talk about this. I put this out there. I want people to be aware. You have to be involved. A lot of you are going to get pushed out of where you're living right now. Businesses are being closed from, the meat markets, bodegas, to daycare centers. Daycare centers are being forced closed because of developments. What about the kids in those families? And the way they do it is by sending the building department to shut down the building, find all kinds of violations. Then they use the Yonkers police to make sure that the people get out. That's how they're using our resources. That's how they're using building department resources. Kick out people and make sure the developers get what they want. And the developers are not caring about those who are living at or below the poverty line. They're not caring about the average person in Yonkers who makes $35,000 a year, the average household, which is making $70,000 a year, less than what they will accept at these new luxury apartments that they're building. Who's that helping, Lorraine? Who's that helping, Tasha? The only people benefiting are developers and the corrupt elected officials who are helping the developers make their millions. That's it. And I talk about it. So my wife has become a target for them. I mean, they look at everything. They look at everything. Imagine going to work one day and your boss pulls you into the office and says, hey, you're doing a great job. I just want to start by saying that first, but I want to let you know they're after you. They're looking for anything on you to fire you. Just wanted you to know. But continue doing the great job that you're doing and you should be okay. And then now you're sensing people being funny with you, staff members being funny with you, not talking to you, mentioning things to students about you that you don't even know about yourself because they're having meetings about you. They're colluding to find ways to make you look bad, to write you up, and so they can create a paper trail to terminate you. Imagine having to work under that. And then the person that you think is there for you, the guy who warns you in the beginning, is now working to fire you by writing lies, blatant lies. It's in black and white. And why isn't that being investigated? Why isn't there an investigation to why is it that you gave this evaluation and you said this? Clearly, you said this person did this great. And then on your last evaluation, which was several months after, you're requesting she be terminated. And then you're saying that she did not do what you just said she did great in the last evaluation. That's a lie. Which one is it? Did she do this great or did she not do it at all? Did you forget? How can we trust this principle? Right? It's like a prosecutor who gets caught lying in order to send someone to jail. And then they start to investigate all of their prosecution, right? All of the cases they prosecuted because now were they fabricating evidence against people? So maybe any evaluation that this guy has done negatively to staff who have been fired, maybe they need to be looked at now because he has proven himself to be willing to lie on evaluations, affecting people's professional careers, their livelihoods. The man had no problem doing that. And that's who's in charge of our schools, some of our schools. These are the type of people that we have in charge of our school buildings. How many great staff members have been lost because of this culture that exists in the Yonkers public schools? It's a nasty and horrible culture, and our kids are learning from this. Our kids are surrounded by this culture every day. And not to say that all staff members, I'm not generalizing, but there are a handful. And you can find them in almost every school building. Many of them are part of the friends and family network, so they will do this with no problem. That's how they got their job. They probably skipped people. They probably weren't qualified all the way, but they got it anyway. They get moved around to the better schools and the better positions. And so they will lie. They will write a statement knowing it's a lie against another person, knowing that that's going to hurt them because it's going to lead to a termination. And are they saying, man, but what about their family? What about their bills? What about their kids? Their health insurance for the kids? What if they get sick, God forbid, or get injured seriously while now they're terminated? No insurance. Because I lied, because I wrote a false statement, because I was asked to do this by the principal and people at the Board of Education. So if you can't think that after doing something like that, if you don't think to yourself, if you don't reflect like that, you're an evil human. You are soulless. You're cold. You lack empathy. And I have zero compassion for people like that. I will go at you all the way. I have zero compassion. And there are people who've done this at Roosevelt. In fact, one of them was made principal. Was that your reward? In fact, this individual has family members that are being complained about in every different type of department and agency. This is a family gene thing? Is this the genetic thing of genetically evil? And I'll be talking about one of those family members on Sunday when I talk about family court. This judge specifically has been involved in a lot of people's cases, and they all have an issue with her. And she's from time and time again has awarded custody to the parent that's had child protective or CPS cases, that have, been arrested for abuse of their spouses. She awarded custody to one dad who was accused by the daughter of sexually assaulting her. But yet this judge still awarded custody to this dad after this with a CPS case and accusations of sexual assault. We'll talk about that on Monday. And so this is what I speak about, folks, because you never know. You listening may be in this position one day having to deal with these same individuals. And at that point, you may understand what it is that I and others have gone through. Right. And then you'll have a better idea. And I'm just trying to nip it in the bud. Let's end this. Let's stop this nasty retaliation. And for those who cry victim, I'm sorry to tell you, if you are part of Zahi Jeris's team, you are not a victim. You're a player, and you better be prepared. You better be prepared, because I told you folks, right? Freddy Krueger here. When they sleep on you, but you about to kill the game. I'm about to kill the game. I'm not going anywhere, even if you fire my wife. So it would be a stupid move, because at that point, I no longer am going to be restricted on what I say. Why do I have to worry? You done fired my wife, right? Shout out to Christine Peters. Her daughter, Eden, is doing food reviews on the Yonkers Ledger. Get them started young. That's great. I love that. I absolutely love that. Right? So listen, you decide what you want to do. Just know my wife being fired is actually going to be a freeing thing for me, because I'm going to go. I don't have nothing to hold me back now. Right? I don't have anything to hesitate that's going to cause me to hesitate. I'm just going to go. And I'm going to talk about all of you. And I'm going to find out. And I know some of you who were involved in these fake, write-ups. And we're going to find out about you. And your business is going to be put out there. I promise you that. Every one of you that was involved in this, you're going to have me speaking about you. Your business is going to be put out there. Right? Like the guy that's daughter with the sex tape, Let's talk about that, right? You wanted to hurt my family, hurt my wife's livelihood, take food off our table, cause my wife physical, problems as she deals with the anxiety now from all this, has to take, anxiety medication as a result of this. Well, she hasn't been taking it, but they prescribed it to her. She went to her doctor. She's been dealing with anxiety now. In the mornings, she doesn't know what to do with herself. She loves to work. That's what she does. She wants to get back to working with the kids. And so If that's taken from her, I promise you, it's not about the money. It's about what my wife will go through. And that's what's going to bother me even more. So I promise you, I'm going to find you out. And I already found out one of you dudes, you went and complained. Look, he put my picture up on his page. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, youngin'. You know who I'm talking about, youngin'. I know your family's all up in the Yonkers public schools, right? And you were one of the disrespectful little punks, right? I don't know how you can disrespect the administrator and you're a one-to-one, a para, the bottom of the totem pole, and they're going to write you up for telling this para that he's not supposed to be disrespectful to an administrator, his boss. You write the boss up, and then you get people in the cafeteria to lie who weren't even paying attention. Suckers. But we're going to talk about you guys. I promise you that. I promise you that. Because that's just how I am. I can't. My wife will tell you, you do something, Freddie's going to go until he feels vindicated, until he feels like he's got what he wanted. That's just how I am. And I'm very good at that. I'm very methodical. And I find the information. I already have a lot of information, and I've been trying to. I'm letting you folks know. I'm talking to you individuals. I've been, nice. I have. Even though I've posted it, I have been nice. I haven't posted everything, Lorraine. You know there's more shit I could say. And I know. But I haven't because I really don't want to go there. But you guys are leaving me no choice. You're forcing the hand. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm ready. My wife is very marketable. Trust me. She's already been offered job positions. Okay? She has been. Very marketable. Very, very marketable. Intelligent. We have degrees. Unlike Brian, unlike Rue, unlike many of you, we are educated with degrees. Yes, I have an MBA. That's right, Brian. I actually do, right? Because I'm not pretentious. I don't hang it in my wall. I have to look for it. But yes, okay, look that up. Do some real research. Okay, Masters in Business Administration, Brian. Not one, but two concentrations, finance and marketing, okay? For a guy that grew up in the hood, I was born in a prison. My mother made a mistake when she was young. She paid for that and has done better than some of y'all without any help. And here I am. I've done my thing. I've put my money away. I have my safety net. Right? You might cause some disruption to my lifestyle here in New York, but it's okay because I planned for things like this. I didn't expect the city to come after me, maybe a bad economy, maybe the dollar losing all its value, right? But I did. I planned for that. It just so happens that it was the city and like the politicians who come after my business to hurt me. And we were going to do very well too. We will do very well. We're going to make a lot of money as soon as they shut us down. We were just full. We were getting ready to rock and roll. And then they come with their nonsense and shut me down. Right. So, listen, I've done several businesses, Brian. How many have you? Rue, how many have you? The Lorraines, how many have you guys done? How many? Even Zahi Jarris, what is your business? Committing election fraud? Corruption? Criminality? That's your business? That's how you succeed? That says you're successful? Drug dealing? Shaking down bodegas, the Aki spots? Shaking down the Akis with the consumer protection? That's what you call success? Lying, cheating, and stealing your way through life? I guess you're a successful thief. Successful liar, successful cheat. You were caught once. You just spent 4 years in jail. Will you be caught again? And will you go to jail for a longer period this time? Because those guys never last. I've seen them time and time again. Never last. Eventually they go down. That's not a career. You have a 401k, There's no retirement plan. There's no benefits package. But I'm sure you thought like me. You put money away, right? If you're smart, you got it buried somewhere. I used to know a guy who dug up his kitchen floor and was stashing money there, then tiled it back up, right? He was in a legitimate business, but there was cash coming in also, right?
Certain businesses, you can get cash coming in. That's why you like the car wash business, right? You can claim all this cash coming in, right? That you don't have to report. I know these games. I know them. I've seen them done. So I know what you do. I know how it's played. And I'm telling you, I'm going to see what happens here, Z. And it's on and popping, my brother. It's on and popping. Because I'm methodical and I'm going to go to great lengths to assure that you feel what I feel. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Promise you. And then I'm out to my safety net. Because I'm good. So what do you want to do? Do you want to leave that guy alone? Let him go about his business? Or do you want to continue the nonsense? Zahi, what do you want to do? By the way, I saw your wife the other day. Isn't she supposed to be at work? It was during work hours. She is a supervisor making $130,000 a year. I hear she passed the test, right? She finally passed it, right? Is that true? But she was given the job without having to even take the civil service test, and then she failed it. But I saw her the other day. Picking up checks, rent checks, collecting that money. I see everything, and I'm going to see even more. So what do you want to do? Do you want this guy, Freddy Vazquez, always targeting you? Because I'm not talking about podcasting here. The ball's in your court, homie. The ball is in your court, man. Calm your guy Brian down. Tell your pedophile Yonkers voice guy to stop. Or if it's Tasha, whoever it is, you control them. You speak to them. Because if they keep doing it, and if my wife is gone, trust me, my goal is to see you behind bars. That will be my goal. And there are other people who would love to see you behind bars also. So, the ball's in your court, Z. What do you want to do? Because I'm trying to run a business. My wife is trying to go to work, do the great job that she does. We're not trying to think about you or your wife or your son. We don't care about that. Don't make me care. Trying to say it in the nicest, non-threatening way possible. Maybe you're a big shot. Maybe you're a tough guy. Maybe. But none of that scares me. I dealt with tough guys before. Real tough guys. So if you're a real tough guy, then great. Nothing new. So what do you want to do? Because I'm not playing. You're not going to just do this to me and my family and I'm going to walk away. That's not how it's going to work. It's not how it's going to work. I told one of your people when they were emailing me that I would die for this shit. And I'm not lying. That doesn't make me crazy. That makes me determined. So do you want that? I wouldn't want that. It doesn't matter how tough I think I am. I wouldn't want anybody having this focused on me, this desire to bring me down and be so focused and methodical about it. I wouldn't want that. I don't care how much of a punk I thought they were. I don't underestimate anybody, especially someone that is out to get me. So I try to have as little enemies as possible, Z. What about you? What about you, Lorraine? What about you, Tasha? What about you, Steve? I came to the cigar place to show you that I will come to you, not to smoke cigars with you, but that I will pop up everywhere you are at. Folks, James Kavanaugh. You've heard of him? Shout out to the Yonkers legend. You guys do great work there. Yonkers Industrial Development Agency president is now also the acting commissioner of planning department. And I said this. So for those who say he's, it's not really a lot of people. Most people know by now that what I say is about 98% accurate. I may not have the evidence or the supporting documents, but at this point, my record speaks for itself. I say things. It may be a month, maybe 2 months, but eventually it's proven to be true. And I spoke about James Kavanaugh becoming the head of the planning department, right? He's also the president of the YIDA, the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. His wife is Wilson Kimbo. That's not her full name, though. Wilson Kimbo. She is head of Municipal Housing Authority of the city of Yonkers, and she is also the chair of the zoning board. So you have a husband and wife team locking down all of this, these agencies that deal with developments and construction and stuff and tax incentives. So naturally, they're probably going to form this business, this side hustle where they can shake down developers. We can get you the tax incentive. We'll get you the property that you want. We'll change the zoning laws for you. Also, you can be successful, but it's going to cost you. And they're making a lot of money doing it. Are you guys stashing that money over in Rhode Island? They got a house out there in Rhode Island. Many of these individuals that work in City Hall have second and third homes, but they've worked for the city most of their lives, most of their careers. So how do you have so many different properties making 80, 90,000 a year? How? Especially when you're getting, bi-weekly check. You see, it took for me to get into a business where I was getting checks that were $30,000, $40,000 at one time, $50,000 and $60,000 at one time, to where I could say, okay, I'm going to take this money and go buy some property. But when I was getting a check every 2 weeks, that didn't seem like possible, right? But how do you guys do it? How do you officials, like Steve, how many properties you got, Street Travert, Chief of Staff of Mike Breen? How many properties you got? And you're making, what, 80, 90,000? You've done that for the past 10, 11 years? I'm not trying to diss you. You guys have got money. I'm not dissing you by saying you're making, which 80,000 is a good salary, but some people might get offended. I'm not offending you. Trust me, you guys got money stashed places. We know. The team knows. The Get Money team. They got these guys that they break into people. They find there's money in the house. They go in there, man. Hit team, man. Don't let them know you got the money in the house, because they will go in there and go get that. Know these guys. In fact, Tony T, what's good, my man Tony? Didn't you utilize the services of some of these guys? I heard about that. Buy your business. What did they do for you? To the neighbor? You hiring my goons? You hiring my goons, Tony T? See, we know the same people. You gotta be careful what you do, right? So I know what you did. But Tony, that's your business. I don't care, really. I really don't care. You ain't doing nothing to me, really, Tony. So that's your business. I get it. Street business. I'm going to leave it there. But I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know. You know what I mean? So James Kavanaugh, these guys got a lot of money. Their staff, Yonkers Public School staff members, administrators that have homes in Florida. And I want to know, because there was this huge scandal, right, where staff members, administrators, and, teachers who have been there for a while, the teachers that are on the higher end of the totem pole, the ones that, are part of the crew, were selling, I believe, candy, snacks, or whatever to students. So imagine that, right? Imagine that business. Dr. Casada put an end to it, but I want to know how much money they made before he put an end to it. So they're pretty much opening up shop in the Yonkers Public Schools. You have kids there who can't go anywhere else, right? Have money, want to buy some snacks or whatever. You know how much money they probably made? I know a woman. I used to work with a woman when I worked in the school that would do this, and she used to make a lot of money. She used to give it to the students. They would go on trips and things of that nature. I'm sure she pocketed some, but she made a lot of money. She opened up the school store. And so there were staff members in YPS doing this. And they made a lot of money. And it was very controversial because They were pocketing all the money. How much money did they make? Did it buy some of those homes in Florida? See, so I know a lot of stuff. The condo or the co-op up in Broward County. I got the address and everything. I used to go out to Broward a lot, actually. I know Broward very well. Broward County. Pembroke Pines, Fort Lauderdale, Miramar. You know, all those places, A1A. So how they buy these properties? Where is this money coming from? Many of them, we don't know, are put onto different boards of different organizations that we don't even know about. Like I found an organization, or it was like a business pretty much. It was created to build the parking lot over on Buena Vista, and so it has a board, right? The mayor sits on the board. So does Wilson Kimball. So does Shanae. Right, Wilson Kimball, the wife of James Kavanaugh, and they're making extra money doing this. Shanae, for sitting on this board of this, I think it was the Larkin Plaza Garage Inc. or LLC or something like that. She's making an additional $52,000. That's aside from her city council pay, but we don't know this. The public doesn't know this, and so how much money are they really making? And that's not listed on the Yonkers city employee salary list. And that's important. That's important because that's why they do what they do. They're making a lot of money. I hear Wilson Kimball's making upwards of $500,000 a year in everything that she's involved in. Municipal Housing Authority of the city of Yonkers once owned the properties, but now they have sold them off to private investors. So they control the properties and they control the distribution of the Section 8 vouchers. And so that's how they sell it to these developers. We can get you this property. We can get you this tax incentive for X amount of years. And we can steer vouchers towards you. The right vouchers. We promise not to give you any of the people that destroy apartments or that have drug dealing relatives or that have pit bulls. We'll give you the people that are quiet, don't bother anybody. The other folks, we'll give them vouchers to get the hell out of Yonkers. Go to Greenberg. Go to Newburgh, go down south. We don't care. We just don't want you in our properties now. Yes, our properties, because we bought them up and now they're private. Wilson Kimball is a part of these private entities that manage a lot of the public housing here in the city of Yonkers that were once owned by the city. But she and her investor friends bought them up. And then they manage the properties. So the nonprofit company that they have buys up the property so they can get all kinds of grants and tax incentives as a nonprofit. And then their for-profit company is what manages the properties. So when they get all this grant money and this funding from the government for being a nonprofit that is operating in affordable housing, a low-income housing development, they push that money, most of it right through to their for-profit company, and that's how they pocket it. It's a great hustle. It's a great hustle, but it's a hustle that you can only do if you are in these positions. So they got a racket going on here, an affordable housing, low-income housing racket, a real estate racket. That's what's happening here in the city of Yonkers. And this is the problem. And it may go over some people's heads only because it's, this is something that even I'm still learning all the details of. And, most people may not get it. They might not understand what this is all mean and how does it affect them. So, for example, if you were on the waiting list for housing a while back, you know that they did that whole lottery thing, right? And what they did was put everybody back into this lottery, even if they were already in a position online, and mixed them all up. This caused some people to be even further down the line now than they were before, upsetting people who have been waiting for years now to get an apartment. But why did they do that? Because that's what they would use their way of filtering out people. Because again, when you have a property, you're a landlord, you want the best tenants, right? And they knew they were buying up these properties. So they wanted to keep the best tenants here in Yonkers and then push out those that were problematic to other cities and other states. And Wilson Kimball can do that because she manages the voucher system here in Yonkers. It's a hustle, man. It's a great hustle. And I say great hustle because I can't be mad at it. As a businessman, I can't be mad. The president and CEO of Yonkers Industrial Agency, James Kavanaugh, better known as Jim, has been pulling double duty as the acting commissioner of the Planning and Development Department. His appointment by Mayor Mike Spano came in August after the retirement of my man, Commissioner Lou Albano. I like Lou. Lou and I met Lou when I was it's funny, Deanna. You know, I met your dad, Deanna. You know how I met your dad. Did he ever tell you a story how I met your dad, Deanna? Mr. Robinson, I'm assuming. He's the head of the Veterans Department, but he's also an inspiring developer. And so he and a business associate of mine, a very wealthy business associate of mine, met up with them. We were looking to do developments here too, but they were giving us the crappy properties. Ain't that right, Lou? You know, you guys were showing us crappy properties. Right? One lot, we couldn't build anything, was too small. Another one required like $1 million plus of excavation of rock excavation. That didn't make sense. And then my partner, my business, so he's all about free money, right? Rich people know about the free money. They don't use their money. Very rich people don't use their money, right? They use their assets as collateral to get money from banks so they don't have to use their money, right? That's what they do. So, he was like, well, is the city going to pay for all this? Because I don't want to put a dime of my money in, but some of the richest people are some of the cheapest people, right? For decades, one could find Jim Kavanaugh's footprints throughout government in Westchester County and beyond. Starting in the late 80s, he parlayed serving as a New York State Senator Nick Spano's press secretary into his own political career. But before he was Nick Spano's press secretary, James Kavanaugh was a journalist for the Herald Statesman. That's right. Jimmy, you worked for the Herald Statesman and you wrote that article about Jose Alvarado. I am so curious, Jim, was it the Jose Alvarado that's a county legislator? Folks, in the early 80s, there was a man breaking into homes in the Nodine Hill section, burglarizing them, but also sexually assaulting any females that were inside the apartment. It was sort of like the Night Stalker of Yonkers. You guys know about the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez out in LA. He would do that. He would be standing next to people and they'd wake up and this guy with a mask is just standing over them. Imagine that shit. Well, this is what this Jose Alvarado was doing. It sounds like it's Jose Alvarado, the county legislator. I mean, even right down to the, ethnicity of the guy and the age range. Jim Kavanaugh wrote that for the Herald Statesman. I've been wanting to know, was Jose Alvarado, the county legislator, breaking into homes and burglarizing them and sexually assaulting the people in the homes? I posted the article, folks, if you want to check that out. So I'm waiting for Jim to let me know about it. Jim, let me know. But after he was a journalist, he was hired by Nick Spano in his communications department, right? As a journalist, you're a communications major. Makes sense. In 1994, he became the town of Eastchester's elected supervisor. And during his 10-year tenure, faced criticism when his party named him chair of the Westchester Republican Committee, replacing outgoing chairman Nick Spano. In the early 2000s, Kavanaugh took to Manhattan with an executive position at the Battery Park City Authority. And I spoke about this. There, he met now wife Wilson Kimball. That's where he met his wife, Wilson, and she hates me. Wilson hates me. Wilson, I remember the time you called up Lakeisha, trying to explain to her that you didn't have an affair and that you were already separated from your husband when you and Jim was, up in that love's nest, right? So she was at Battery Park City Authority, which is a quasi-governmental agency, kind of like Macy. And so was Jim. Jim was the head of it. And they started to have an affair. Wilson Kimball was married at the time. In fact, her marriage made the papers because of who she married and also who she worked for. Wilson Kimball worked for Lady Pataki, the Governor George Pataki's wife, right? So she made the paper with this wedding, and then she was sliding off with Jim. Oh, Jimmy, sliding up to Jimmy, right? And what they did was they were using the money that was taxpayer money that was coming into this Battery Park City Authority to get an expensive apartment downtown where they would rendezvous and do their little thing, And so the Inspector General of New York State ultimately investigated the two of them in 2010. If you want to read the report, it's in the article there. You can check it out, the Yonkers Ledger, and click on the report. They were investigated for corruption, misappropriation of funds. They talked about the apartment that they have been paying for, all the lavish dinners and parties that they were throwing, all on the dime of the taxpayers of the city of New York. And so just before the investigation was over, the both of them left that agency and ended up here in Yonkers, where they are now running all of the real estate stuff. The zoning board, the planning board, the IDA, municipal housing. What do you think's going on there? You think that they've changed? I mean, Wilson's making $500,000 a year. She's done sold off a lot of the public housing here in the city of Yonkers, once owned by the city, to private investors, and she's a part of it. Go check out the tax returns for some of these buildings now. It's all about looking at the tax returns. That's what I do. Check out the tax returns. Check out the tax filings for these companies. And that's where you'll find a lot of information. So, you know, they're making it difficult for people to find affordable housing because they're purposely, you know, being selective. They are knocking down affordable housing like Mulford. Then they're building them back up with less apartments. Remember, Mulford Gardens had 500 units. The new Mulford Gardens has just a little over 100. How many families left Yonkers as a result? And where did they go? So when they tell you they're building more affordable housing, that's not true unless you are referring to the affordable housing being built specifically for seniors. But Cottage was rebuilt with less apartments. Mulford Garden was knocked down, rebuilt with less apartments. So they're systematically dwindling the affordable units down. So don't you know? I have to bring this to you guys. I'm sorry. I analyze all this and I bring it on the podcast, and you know, and they hate me for it. However, both left the government-run planning agency after a scathing oversight report showed gross misuse of funds by the organization. However, Kavanaugh rebukes the Inspector General's findings as close to being slanderous. Oh yeah, if that's slanderous, then what do you call what they're doing to my wife and I? Nick's younger brother, Mayor Mike Spano, appointed Kavanaugh as deputy mayor of Yonkers, where he served for 4 years. Likewise, Wilson Kimball briefly served as director of the downtown waterfront development before her Spano appointment to the planning and development department. First as a deputy commissioner for a year, then the full commissioner for the next 7 years. In recent years, both have changed positions again. In 2020, Spano tasked Kimball to lead the Municipal Housing Authority. That agency manages the vast network of city-owned residential buildings as well as the related Section 8 housing voucher program. But they are not city-owned anymore. Not since she's been there. They have gone to private investors. Their mailing addresses are in California, are in Maine, are here, there, and that. One of them has an interesting mailing address. It leads to another property owned by a Yonkers public official. So they bought up the properties. They're managing the properties on their own, which is why a lot of people at Macy lost their jobs. A lot of the housing guys that worked as maintenance and stuff they're losing their jobs because they're bringing in this private management company that's doing everything, which they own. And they're getting taxpayer money. While people are struggling to pay their bills, they're making $500,000 taxpayer money. City broke. They're getting the money. Going in their pockets. Their kids are wealthy, right? They're successful. We don't know how to be successful, us poor folks, right? They do. Teach us how to cheat, lie, and steal. We'll be successful too. Kavanaugh similarly transferred from a literal city of Yonkers government position to a quasi-governmental agency. In 2021, Mayor Spano appointed him to the president and CEO of the Yonkers Industrial Development Agency. These state-regulated organizations operate under a government-run board, but act as private businesses, similar to the aforementioned Battery Park City Authority. However, its main function is to entice investment by negotiating land sales and tax abatements to private developers. But they're bringing in their own people and themselves even. Kimball's a developer now. After 2 years in that role, the mayor added Jim Kavanaugh's responsibility by giving him an entire city department to run. On August 14th, without any formal announcement, Kavanaugh took over the vacant commissioner position left by the retiring Lou Albano, who wanted to get the hell up out of here as quickly as he could. Right, Lou? I know you did, Lou. I like you, Lou. God bless you and best of luck. In the Department of Planning, this department oversees a range of services like affordable housing, community and economic development, as well as traditional planning functions. Now, these two individuals are not from Yonkers. They have no ties to Yonkers. They're not rooted in Yonkers. They don't care about the people of Yonkers. They don't care about the community here. They live in the high-end apartments over there behind where Toys R Us used to be, Midland, all that luxury area over there. But why do they live there? Because, many people opt to live in an apartment if they have multiple homes elsewhere out of state. And that's what they do. Right? Because they have homes. They just here for work. They just here to make their money. That's it. Speaking with the mayors or this department of those planning functions consist of land use and environmental studies, project site visits, and the formulation of strategic planning initiatives. Speaking with the mayor's office, they noted that both Commissioner Albano and a director and director of planning, Zach Nersinger, exited the department around the same time. Why? Therefore, because of Kavanaugh's experience, this guy's a journalist. The mayor moved quickly to fill the gap with someone who didn't need to be brought up to speed. Yeah, because they were already involved in it, even though they weren't in those positions. The administration also, who do you think brought a lot of these developers and investors up here to Yonkers? They did, from their time in Manhattan. They were the ones that brought them up. While he reportedly is not double dipping, quote unquote, across two government supported salaries, his lead role in two agencies, hopefully dependent on one another, raised a simple question. Is it legal? Is this legal? We reached out to the New York State Comptroller's Office, who has oversight over all the state's IDAs. Through our direct question on whether or not an IDA head could also lead the related planning department went formally unanswered, the city of Yonkers was quick to answer. And that's a problem. Right? It was not that long ago, and a lot of people were upset about this, that the mayor, Mayor Mike Spano, posted a picture of himself with the New York State Comptroller, Thomas D. Napoli, over in Somos, in Puerto Rico. He's been asked to investigate other things also. I know if I was, being asked, or they were trying to investigate me and they were asking the state controller to do so, and I'm with him in Somos. Hey, yo, come over here, man. Have a seat with me, homie. I'm going to buy you a drink. Matter of fact, look at these beautiful women. Like any of them? They're yours. Just kidding. Saw that in a movie once. But I definitely would be trying to butter them up. Maybe just that way. There is no conflict or prohibition in maintaining YIDA president while serving as commissioner. John McDonald, for example, is the county's executive director of operations, and she also serves as the president of the county IDA. But we can't use anything in the county as an example because the county is just as rogue and corrupt, right? So that's not a good example. You'll find similar situations in the other IDAs of New York. New York being the number one, if not number two, most corrupt state in the country, just in case you didn't know. That's a fact. Politically corrupt. Taking the Westchester County example at face value, there still exists another potential ethical conflict. Between the IDA, Planning Department, Macy, and Zoning Board of Appeals, there is one married couple, well, congratulations, they're married now, controlling it all. Considering these organizations have influence upon one another, the distribution of power is virtually non-existent. Perhaps in the third largest city in the state, despite Kavanaugh and Kimball's acknowledged experience and expertise, there may be others capable of sharing the responsibility. I volunteer. However, as previously stated, this is only an acting, quote unquote, appointment of Jim Kavanaugh to the planning department, and it may never become his permanent job. The city of Yonkers did publicly post a job listing for this position online just 3 days after the mayor appointed Kavanaugh in August, although they removed that job posting just 2 months later with no new candidate yet named. With the future of the position uncertain, the administration only stated that Mayor Spano will be evaluating all of his cabinet positions prior to the new term, and this position will be part of that process. By the way, he has deferred his IDA salary, so he's not taking two salaries. Instead, he's taking the planning commissioner salary, which
is a smart move because the IDA salary was only what, $74,000 a year, something to that effect, whereas the planning commissioner salary is $190,000. $190,000 to do what exactly? No diss to you, Lou. Lou, you're a good guy, but I'm just saying, Lou. 190. But hey, I know a principal over at Vive. It's an adult education thing, part of the public schools, that's making $230-something thousand as a principal. And another one of their family members became a principal as well. They got other family members as assistant principals. Come on. They're hoarding the money. Then you wonder why others are impoverished. You're not spreading the jobs out equally. When there are several families that have so many of their members in the city working, making lots of money. It's not, people just go to Spanos. It's not just the Spanos, right? It's not just the Spanos, right? And the Spanos is a huge family. So, you got to a little bit understand that. But when you have 4 members in your family and they all got jobs, or 5 members in your family and they all got jobs with the city and they're all making over $100,000 with the city, that's not okay. It's not okay, because there are other families that have 0 members working for the city that are looking for jobs, that were waiting for the jobs that were promised that never came. So maybe you could take a couple of those family members off, put some new family members in from other families, I should say, people from other families, so they can then support their family. I mean, you already have one of their family members making money. Let's look at another family who needs it. And it's the same individuals, and these people are already wealthy. A lot of them already come from wealth. Their families are wealthy. They may have a husband doing a business that's making a lot of money, so the wife now is making another $100,000, and she just really doing that job for the health insurance, but she'll take the $100-some grand too, right? And then they'll get all their family. And meanwhile, you have this large demographic, largely Hispanic and Black, that are not getting these positions, that are left in impoverished conditions, and that never break the cycle of poverty. There are no opportunities here. And it's unfair. And these people will gloat and will brag as if they've done something great, as if they're so amazing and talented, as if they have these special skills that none of us have. We know how to run businesses. We're smarter than you. Your business failed. Meanwhile, they're cheating, lying, stealing. There's individuals that you guys know own businesses and needed free loans. And I say free because they never paid them back, but the taxpayers loaned them that money to start their business or to keep their business afloat. Right, John? And I thought of you because, John, you commented today on my post. You never say nothing, but you felt the need to comment and defend Lorraine. And what I say to you, John, did you give a fuck about what they did to my wife, Mr. Rubo? Did you go to Brian Zahe, your boy, and say, that's messed up? What you're doing to his wife, she didn't do anything? No, Johnny boy, you didn't. So don't come on my page saying anything. Your word is no good here. You are a man that has done some nasty things to people. Remember when you called Carolyn a scammer, disrespecting the woman in front of seniors that she advocates for, upsetting the seniors, John? But you don't care. You don't care about her. Did her sister have to die, God forbid, in order for you to care about her? Is that the only way you may have some compassion? Because just calling her a scammer, disrespecting her while the pedophile Rue is recording live in front of elderly people who you should have showed more respect to is not a nice thing, John. So you coming on my page saying some dumb shit like that shows how dumb you are. Don't get in my crosshairs, John, because you got a lot to hide. You got a lot to hide. And I'm not going to talk about your wife because I don't do that. No, I don't go that low. I'm not willing to go that low. She didn't do anything. Now, if she worked for the city and she was a part of the problem, yeah. But no, she's an innocent woman, so I won't mention her.
but you should be investigated. And you are, aren't you? A perfect solution? That's how dumb you are. You would call it a perfect solution to funnel money, to launder money. That's what you named the company because you thought it was a great idea on how you can launder money. Oh, it's a great idea. Yeah, I'm going to create this company to launder campaign funds. It's a perfect solution. And so that's what you named the company. A perfect solution, John Rubo Inc. I don't take what criminals say, to heart, John. Okay. You defending Lorraine is probably not helping her. Probably wouldn't help anybody. Not with your, track record. But at least you got yourself together. You were losing it there for a while. You were. You know what I'm talking about. Because I haven't heard it lately. But you were losing it there for a while. And you should be thanking me for mentioning it because I'm the reason why you stopped. And you needed to. So you should thank me, John. Don't come on my page talking crap, Rubo. Thank me for helping you. You look better. And some of the others stopped too and look better. And I like that. I really care about you. I do. I want to see you looking better. Okay? All right? Because a lot of you have lost weight. Look at how many of them lost weight. Look where Ruros used to be at one point. John had lost weight, but I think you're getting it back, John. Tasha Diaz. Why? Why they lose weight? They on that model diet. That's why. It's that model diet. You know what I mean? Stacey Abrams. Who's that? Stacey Abrams, brother-in-law arrested in Tampa for human trafficking. It's big. Human trafficking is big, right? And so we must protect our children and we must out the pedophiles. Alberto Velasquez, thank you. Even though you got paid $1,000, Alberto, thank you. Thank you for the police report on Ruros, where it shows that he had child porn, right? I just find it funny. Look how nasty these people are. And this is, you don't want to ever be a part of this group, folks. You don't. These are the nastiest, dirtiest snakes. So Alberto Velasquez pretends to be Yonkers Voice's good friends. They always got cigars in their mouths together with their chancletas on in somebody's backyard, right? But Alberto Velasquez was the one that provided the information on Ruros and his child porn. If it wasn't for Alberto Velasquez, I would never have gotten a copy of those Yonkers police reports. Not just on Ru, but on you too, Brian. Where are my police reports? You didn't want to show the one police report that had my name on it because they would have shown that I was the victim, right? And so you didn't want people to know that I was the victim. You wanted me to look like the aggressor. So you put it up there blurry where people can read it. You're a loser. But I have those police reports thanks to Alberto Velasquez, the CSCA president, a guy who was parked on Van Cortlandt earlier today on the sidewalk in a handicap spot. I should have took a picture of your little white pickup truck, Alberto. And if I was like you, I would have ran you over. Like, remember you tried to run me and my kids off the road on Yonkers Avenue? I didn't forget that, and I'm never going to forget that. Everything in due time. In due time. But I see you often. I remember not too long ago, the other day, you was at the CSCA office, right, in your little white pickup. What you did, Alberto, to me that day, if it wasn't because I do basement politics and people know me, if it wasn't because of that, boy, I promise you, I don't care how tough you think you are, we would have left you in Puerto Rico, okay? Over there in the Black Sandy Beach, man. Guy tried to run me and my kids off the road, literally swerving his little white pickup into my car. I had to swerve into oncoming lane in order to avoid having him hit me. Thank God there was no car coming in the opposite direction. I would have crashed head on. Yeah, this is what this man did. Why didn't I call the police? Because they were right behind him. They eventually pulled the both of us over on the Sawmill. interestingly enough, not too far behind us was Keith Olsen. Now, I don't want to assume Keith saw everything, but I believe he saw everything also. And it's just interesting that there were several cops behind us. The cop said it. I had my phone on my lap recording when he came to my window. He said, "What's going on with the two of you?" I said, "Did you see what he did?" "Yeah, I saw everything." He goes, and the cop goes, "We weren't even going to say nothing. We were going to let you guys go. But then you went and turned onto the sawmill. I made an illegal turn to get onto the sawmill because I wanted to follow him and get his picture of his plate. Right? I wanted to document that. And that's why I made that illegal turn. So I admit I did make an illegal turn. However, the man just tried to kill me and my kids. And you guys saw it. The police, Yonkers police. And just asked us what was going on. And then when I told them that I knew who the guy was, I said, "That's Alberto Velasquez." He's like, "Okay." They knew who he was. They didn't give any of us tickets. I mean, why not? They should have gave me a ticket for the illegal turn. They should have gave him a ticket for they should have arrested him for trying to run me off the road and then brake checking me on the sawmill when I got behind them. Had to jam my brakes. Thank God my kids were seatbelt in because they all, went forward. But at one point when we were at the light before I make the right onto the sawmill, after he tried to run me off the road, he gets out of his car and starts coming towards my car in an aggressive manner. I was going to run that motherfucker over because I have my kids in my car. And to me, that would have been a justification. I would have dealt with it later. And I put my car in reverse. That's probably why he stopped and walked back to his car. Because I was going to run your ass over. I wasn't going to get out and fight you. I was going to run you over. Don't come to my car aggressive like that with my kids after trying to run me off the road. I was going to hit your ass. You lucky you stopped and went back because you saw me coming backwards. I was going to run your ass over. And I wasn't going to think twice about it. But this is how things are getting. And this is why I'm talking about this. This is why I'm talking about it now. Because I'm serious. Last night, my blood pressure was high. Why? I want to hurt one of them guys, right? It's a lot for me to not be, right? So, because again, I'm Freddy Vazquez. I do basement politics. People know me now. The cops call me whenever Ruros is scared, whenever Brian is scared, they're going to send the cops right to me. This ain't the street. The street, they don't believe in the snitching thing. We deal with stuff. They'll deal with it back if I do something, but they do something, right? But this ain't the street. These guys are going right to the police. And that's what I think he was trying to do by getting out his car. He didn't really want it because he's seen me several times since. Nothing. You saw me at the cigar lounge, Mr. Berto. Why don't you come out and do something? And I challenged you to a charity boxing match. At least we could do it in a controlled environment. I'm ready. My wife says she's scared that, because she's not scared that I'm going to get her. She's scared that I'm going to bite his ear like Mike Tyson. And his head and everything, like I'm going to go kill this guy in the ring. She's like, because she knows me. She knows me. Right? I don't care how big you think I am or how little you think I am or how skinny you think I am. Trust me. Got the heart of a lion. And so, we still have a score to settle, Alberto. Or you can apologize to me and I'll let it go. But no one does that to my kids in due time. And so it's going to get crazy. These people are nasty, disgusting, and they're willing to be violent. They're willing to do things like run you off the road with your kids. He saw my daughter. He was cursing over her, calling me a bitch. My daughter sitting next to me. He's screaming bitch across my daughters to say to me. And I said to him, "That's how you speak in front of a 12-year-old girl?" "Oh yeah, you bitch." He got that accent. He could barely speak English good. "Yeah, fuck you, bitch." And then he swerves his car into mine. Yo, I was gonna run your ass over if you would have got close. Boy, I started backing my car up. Once I saw him get out of his car, I was gonna hit the gas. Boom. Thought he had a gun. I think he did. So something he was reaching in his waist. I'm not taking a chance. Not gonna wait to find out. I'll go to jail, but at least I'll see my kids. And when I do that, I'm not just going to jail just for, hurting you with the car. I'm going to actually go to jail for, having taken your life with the car. I'm just saying. We're doing the back up, forward, reverse again, then we out. Just saying. Don't ever do that again. But we do have a score to settle, Alberto. So please, apologize. Make it easier for both of us. You know what you did was wrong and very dangerous. And you don't deserve to be the CSEA president anymore. I mean, you don't deserve it because you ain't do your job, period. But after that, you belong in jail. But if the law doesn't take care of you, the universe will. I believe in that, Alberto. I believe in that. And Rue, that's your boy. You better pick better friends. But you don't make the best decisions, Rue. But your boy outed you. 1,000%. You want to see the video? You want to see the video, Rue? Same way I recorded you saying that elected officials wanted to hurt my business. In due time, folks. In due time. I can't wait. Facebook doesn't let me share your video. Yeah. Yeah. You know what happened? On election day, they must have reported all of my pages on all the platforms, on Nextdoor app, on Facebook, on Instagram. They got me shut down on Nextdoor. I keep multiple pages, but they shut one of my pages down on Nextdoor app. It was disabled on election day. And then they reported my Facebook page, so I can't share anything, and you probably can't either until December 7th. They did all this on election day. Reported my page. Why? Why? If I say, lies, if I make things up, if I'm crazy, if I'm, mentally unstable, why do you care so much? Why would you commit attempted murder, Alberto? If I saw you, I saw you today, homie. I could have easily jumped out the car and took care of you. I see you often, actually. I go to your house. Go where you live. I go where you go in Puerto Rico. Alberto is a made guy in the was SCSF. What's that mean? A different crew than Lou Venturino, but the same rules apply. If a cop enforces laws with him, IMA clinic and bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, for police officers to see what he had, to see him do what he did and not, say anything about it. That's why people say go to police for what? For what? They're not going to do nothing. Not that I'm saying they're bad, but they don't want to go to the IMA clinic. They don't want to lose their jobs. They're going to brush it or sweep it under the rug. It's pointless. I documented on Basement Politics. I documented with audio recordings, pictures, and things like that. That's how I'm documenting everything, right? And it's good because then some people they're going to get caught up in lies like that, right? They're going to say, oh, no, here you go. Like Rue Rose, I never said that elected. Well, John Cater, he now says he doesn't remember saying it, right, John? Remember he said that in your office? Oh, I don't remember saying it because I got you recorded. But why I don't play certain things? Because I don't want them to have the ability to, figure out what I have, how to defend it, how to manipulate it. So I want it to be a surprise when I do play or show pics and videos. So that's why I don't show everything. They want you to, right? John Rubo was recently asking Carolyn, right? Carolyn Solari, John Rubo asked you to send him over the recording that you have, right? Why did he do that? Because they want to see what you have, right? They want to see what it is that you really have so they can figure out a way to defend it or to way around it. So I'm not going to give them that opportunity, but best believe I got it, yo. I best believe that. It's I'm a street guy, so I don't go to court I mean, I have people in court for money, but those are clients, you know what I'm saying, that owe me money. But I don't go to the court, for Alberto, stuff like that. I don't go to the police really for stuff like that. I just in due time. In due time. And when I do go to the court, I'll have all that stuff ready, right? For some of you. But I'd rather not. I'd rather just run my business. I got time to be going and try to sue nobody for money. I don't need to make money like that. But if you don't let me run my business, you want to fire my wife, then we got to find a way to make money, and it's going to be through lawsuits. Maria George, you're going to be one of them. Just letting you know, because I'm kind. I want to warn you, City Council President, Chief of Staff. You destroyed my business by telling people I was into child porn. How irresponsible of you. Meanwhile, you're hanging out with a pedophile. Maria, you know you would have never had that job if it wasn't for Lakeisha, girl. You know that. You know that, girl. Ain't you Brenton's godmother, right? You know that, right? You know that. Spano crime family. They don't like that. They don't like that, Anthony. And, they don't like, but look, at the end of the day, they're gonna, like I was being told by someone today, had a nice conversation with person. It's interesting the way things are here in Yonkers. It's very interesting. People, I think, for some people, they could, regardless of some of the things I've said on posts, when they get to speak to me in person, they meet me and they really have a conversation with me. They realize that I'm not that bad of a guy. And if they are reasonable and sensible, they can understand why I post what I post and why I've done what I've done, right? But there's just some other people that, like, the Rue Roses and the Albertos that do horrible shit to people and then play victim and then wonder why people's doing shit to them. Oh, why? Right? Because they're not smart, they're not sensible, right? They're just a bunch of losers, looking for sympathy and handouts, right? But other people, who I've targeted in my posts and podcasts have since, amended things, right? And we've had like Henry Dijon Balaj, I would mention him a lot. And you know what? I had a conversation. We sat down, Henry and I, we were having a drink. And I like the guy. I don't know him all that well, but from our conversation, I like the guy. I thought he was, okay guy. There's no reason for me to have an issue with Henry. He's a businessman trying to run his business in a town like Yonkers. So I get it, Henry. And his wife did threaten to sue me. She sent me a message, right? Your wife is tougher than you, Henry, right? But no, his wife was very upset. And Miss, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, Miss Dijon Balaj. My sincere apologies, because honestly, I don't want to have beef with anybody. Beef is never good for, making money or, doing business, right? It's never any good for that. War is never good. The mob will tell you that. War is never good. That's why they didn't like to war with each other. They rather work. That's why Lucky Luciano, that's why he created the commission. So that way they can, divide up the territories and all make money. It's not good when we war, right? So to you, Miss Henry Dijon Balaje, my sincere apologies, because I'm a good guy. I'm a genuine guy. I'm a respectable guy. I have respect for people, but if people come for me, Miss Dijon Balaje, I will go for them, right? And, Henry's, I've done nothing. So I apologize to you. And thank you for not suing me, right? Because I have enough of that to contend with already, but I appreciate you. But I sincerely apologize, because ultimately I'm not here to make enemies. But if you come at me, I'm going to come at you. And I'm not going to hold back. That's just how I am. So I apologize for people who may watch Basement Politics and may not like that. I apologize. That's my own little war with some of these individuals. I'm trying. My wife is helping me. She says God is putting you through this to teach you that you can't just kill everybody. You can't just stab everybody. You can't just want to go and take care of it that way. You know what I mean? Because that's not the right way to go about it, right? And so you have to let it roll off your back, delete that thing about Lorraine. That's not who we are, right? Regardless of what they say about me and you and our kids even, or our business, right? And that's what I did, because we're genuinely good people trying to do good, right? And my wife is all the way, she's better than me, a lot better than me, a lot better person, nicer person, than I am, right? And I'm here to protect her in this evil world. That is my job, and I take that serious. So if you come for my wife, I'm going to come for you. I'm Freddy Vazquez with this Basement Politics. Peace the F out. Have a good weekend.